I was around 10, 11 years old at the time. Me and my two younger brothers, who I'll just refer to as G and D for the sake of ambiguity, were told by our parents that a couple of our friends out of town would be coming to stay the night. Now, obviously, we were excited because we would have company over, and our friends from school no less. They were brothers that we attended school with, a kid older than me by a year, we'll call Jay, and his younger brother, who was a year younger than me, who will be called TJ. Me and my family lived on a long stretch of country road that we just refer to as Highway 5. Our closest neighbor was about less than a 5-minute walk on our side of the road, and our landlord on the opposite side, about a mile down on their farm. Anyway, once our parents went to pick them up and bring them to our house, both my mom and dad had to immediately head to work, which was about 13 miles away from where we lived. Bit irresponsible? Yes, but they meant well. But as a bunch of guys, we did what any preteens would do at the time: play video games, watch YouTube, and play with whatever toys we had, which were usually Legos, or those pop guns. Midway through our YouTube marathon, Jay suggested that we would play a game of hide-and-seek tag outside of our house. Everyone was down. However, I was a bit hesitant, for obvious reasons. For starters, we had no adult supervision. It was pitch black, pouring outside, and who knows what else could happen. But stupidly, they talked me into it, and so we did. We all grouped up at our front porch, and we would draw straws on who would be the seeker. Age drew the shortest straw one, which was the scariest because he was the fastest out of all us. So we really had to give it our all. So he gave us about a 20-second head start, and the four of us would split and find places to hide. Rather than staying in one spot and wait for the seeker to find you, I decided to go for the more practical approach and would carefully move around and only duck down to hide behind the nearest tree or shrub when necessary. It has been a little bit since I've heard from anyone, as I was taking shelter underneath a tree that rested near the closest field of grain when I heard someone coming from behind me. The sound of shoes squishing through the mud and branches breaking behind me was enough to make that clear, and without any hesitation, I would begin to book it, while whoever was chasing me would be close to my tail but not quite there. Every leap from a ditch I took, they followed. Every swift shift in direction to try to juke them, they matched almost perfectly. In my mind, I thought this was Osh, because they were just as unrelenting when it came running. Eventually, however, I've lost track of time, and I could hear my dad yelling out for me in a rather angry tone, so I would already know that I was in trouble. So I yelled out to who I thought was Osh to race him to the front porch. Once I got there, I noticed that Osh and the others would already be there, soaking wet as my parents would look at me with a worried expression. My mother was in tears,